So I've been getting some comments of people asking, why did we go ahead and get rid of Zach Carter? Because in reality, we could have cut somebody else in order to elevate, McKinley Jackson or Miles Murphy. Keep in mind, we had one spot available because we did cut Brad Robbins. Well, the reason why we cut Zach Carter, even though he used to be a third-round pick for us, is really nobody's going to pick him up. Like, you have to realize when we cut players, most of the time here, we're going to sign you back to our practice squad, okay? We're going to bring you back to the team on our practice squad, and we're going to kind of keep you there until we eventually need to elevate you to the 53-man roster. And we're not going to cut someone who potentially will get picked up by somebody else. So let's go through our team real fast, and let's see all the guys we could cut or won't cut. For example, wide receivers. We're not going to cut any of our wide receivers. That's not going to happen. Okay? We're not cutting Orlando Brown. We're not cutting Cordell Volson, Teddy K. None of the starters are going to get cut. Jackson Kirkland. We could have cut him, but we need a backup left tackle, backup left guard. We need a backup for the upcoming game. Matt Lee. We're not going to cut him. Okay? If he gets free agency, someone's picking him up within milliseconds. So that's not happening worth no matter what. Cody Ford. We like to utilize him in games, so we're not going to cut him. At the tight end position, we're not cutting Tanner McLaughlin. He'll get picked up within seconds. Tanner Hudson was hurt. Even now that he's healthy, we still utilize our tight ends. We'd like to have all four of these guys. We're not cutting Jake Browning, and we're not cutting any of our running backs. So that's offense. Defensively, again, you're not cutting any of the safeties. You're really not cutting any of the corners, especially with Mike Hilton being injured. Linebackers, they're not going to cut Moma Jamita because, again, if he has free agency, he's getting picked up for his potential. Joe Bacci, we like to have him here. He knows the system. He plays very well. And then defensive linemen, outside of Jay, who else are you cutting? You're not cutting Chris Jenkins. You're not cutting Cedric Johnson. He'll get picked up. You need to bring in McKinley Jackson. You need to bring in Miles Murphy. Like, I understand the perspective of, well, you're cutting a position that you already limited at. But you're getting back McKinley Jackson to replace Zachary Carter. And also, Zachary Carter, I know he's played for the last 3 years with us, which is cool. And he's been a pretty solid, rotational piece. 16 games, 17 games, played 4 games this season. But he really hasn't been that good. And that's another factor that goes into it too. If he's not playing that good, we know we can cut him. He hits free agency. And again, he's back on our practice squad. We have him whenever we need him. So there's situations you got to look at whenever you're thinking about who you're going to cut to elevate someone else to the active roster if you need to. In this situation, we needed to. And looking at the options we have available, Zach Carter's the best option. I mean, he's really the only option. Again, Jay could be your other option if you really wanted to. It was either between Jay or it's between Zachary Carter. And Jay, for example, right now, if we pull him up, he, surprisingly enough, has been just a tad bit better than Zach Carter. Actually, it's so freaking close. This year, he's been... Okay, so Zach has him in run defense, but he's better... Actually, he's the exact same defensive grade. That is insane. Yeah, he's like... It's very close. It's very freaking close. In run defense, week 1, Zach Carter was better. So again, we could have cut, Jay. It's very possible. That's another guy we could have cut here. We could have gotten rid of him. And I know, yes, Zach Carter was a former third-round pick, but then Jay was also a former fourth-round pick. Not for us, but for the Jags. So, yeah, again, like I said, I think it's one of those situations where, they picked one of the two guys. And for whatever reason, they said, you know what, we really like Jay in there more than we really like, Zachary Carter. Kind of taking a look at NFL snap counts. that's also another kind of little bit of a snippet you can get at. So, for example, if we go to the Cincinnati Bengals and we look at this season so far, Zach Carter actually... I'm actually surprised. Zach Carter leads our teams in... what's it called? He leads our team in snap count. 151 snaps. Jay's 127. This is how bad our injuries have been this year. A little side note here. Look at this is our starting defensive tackles right here. Because of injuries. Those are our starting defensive tackles. We went from DJ Reader to this. So, honestly, for snap count purposes, I think the only thing I could think of then, because now looking at it, I mean, yeah, you could have definitely kept, you could have cut Jay and kept, you could have kept, what's his name, Zach Carter. But I think maybe they like it more, like what they see out of Jay more than Zach Carter. But they definitely both had played the most snaps. So, in the defense of Lou, and obviously the defense in general, I don't think Zach Carter and Jay are really, like, you're not changing much by cutting one or the other. It's like splitting hairs, so it is what it is. At the end of the day, we're bringing back in our practice squad. We'll kind of go through it with that, but it's not like either of them are that great of an option for us. Which we should not be in a situation with those two guys having the most snaps in the season so far. That's disgusting. That is absolutely disgusting. That would be why we suck on the defensive line. And that's why having BJ Hill back this week, Chris Jenkins 100%, McKinley Jackson, that's why I'm so excited. Because all of that's some nasty stuff right there, folks. Some nasty stuff. But yeah, again, like I said, we will go ahead and pick back up our boy Zach Carter to the practice squad. And I highly doubt anyone's going to pick him up. Hey, listen, maybe, possibly somebody goes out there and gets interested and wants to pick him up. But I highly doubt it. I think, he's going to sit on that practice squad and chill there. And, if we have another injury, we could elevate him again. I just don't think he's really that crazy good. And I think that's another reason why when I've seen a lot of comments of people saying, like, why did we cut him? Why did we cut him? I don't get it. I understand why we don't understand why we cut him. But it's like, reality-wise, we should have cut him already. We should be picking up somebody else. We should be going and getting somebody else and fixing the position. The fact that we are accepting him on the roster as our starting player, even with injuries aside, that's not acceptable. We can't have that. That's not a winning formation. That's not a winning team, We're putting that out there, that defense out there, and we're wondering why we can't stop the run while we're having problems here, there, and a third, right? We have to fix those simple problems like that. And maybe it is picking up another free agent defensive tackle. Maybe it is going out there and trading for someone. But tell me down below your thoughts and opinions. See you guys next one.